My God, I hate drugs.
The Justice Department says that for now, there is no need to investigate Solicitor General Jose Calida for the 150 million pesos worth of government contracts bagged by his family security agency. This includes 2 contracts with the Justice Department. The Office of the Solicitor General is an attached agency of the DOJ. This issue raises concerns of a potential conflict of interest. Our senior correspondent, Ruth Cabal, has more.
Jose Calida was one of President Duterte's campaign managers. He was appointed Solicitor General in July 2016. Even before he was named to his post, Calida resigned as president and chairman of the family-owned Vigilant Investigative and Security Agency Incorporated in a notice filed with the Securities and Exchange Commission. But SEC documents also show that as of September 2016, Calida still holds 60% of shares of the company. His wife and 3 children owned the remaining 40%. Within that 3-month period since his appointment, Calida's security firm won contracts to provide security for 4 government agencies. It was not clear if Calida had given up his shares after September 2016, when Vigilant last filed its general information sheet with the SEC. But after that period, Vigilant won 6 more contracts with the government, including 2 with the Justice Department worth more than 12 million pesos. The OSG is an attached agency of the DOJ, but the Justice Department's authority and control is only over the OSG's budget. For Justice Secretary Menardo Guevara, the security contracts between Vigilant as a private agency and the DOJ are valid. Guevara adds he sees no need to investigate this for now. The issue is already part of a graft complaint filed against Calida at the Ombudsman. While petitioner Jocelyn Maria Acosta did not specifically mention the Justice Department contracts, she points out there was conflict of interest in the other contracts won by Vigilant because as Solicitor General, Calida represents different agencies of the government. Calida was evasive when he was cornered by the media during a visit to the Senate Monday.
Any calls for your resignation? No. No comment at all. Don't you want to defend yourself from the allegations, sir?
I will defend myself at the proper forum, not here.
In a statement, Calida stresses there was no conflict of interest in Vigilant's contracts with its client agencies, since the OSG has nothing to do with these transactions. Calida also says he complied with the law when he resigned as president and chairman of Vigilant. But he stresses too that contracts won by his family security firm all went through public bidding. Ruth Cabal, CNN Philippines.
Speaking of news, we still have a lot in store for our viewers in the next half hour. Again, today is a big day for former Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno. She is set to file her appeal. That is today on the Supreme Court's decision on her co-warranto case. So stay tuned to CNN Philippines. We'll be giving you updates on the story.
That's right. And well, Janet Garin is still in the news. Well, we have a news that in 2015, she wrote to the Department of the Budget and Management requesting for the release of 10.6 billion, of course, to fund the health department to augment its health facilities program in terms of probably building more barangay clinics. The problem is this was without the board's approval. And
this
now
is like one blow after another for Janet Garin.
This girl is Bembaksha
controversy and now the PhilHealth. Yeah, so we'll see how this turns around.
Okay, and also,
guest.
That's right, we'll be having a guest later on the show live because, of course, the country is celebrating the National Interior Design Week, and later we will be having a studio interior architect who came all the way from New York, and we will get to talk to her. That's right.
Stick around, we have more stories coming up. You're watching New Day on CNN Philippines. It's a last push at the Supreme Court to convince colleagues to come over to her side. Former Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno is set to file her motion for reconsideration today, the deadline set by the court. She's expected to appeal the Supreme Court's ruling in favor of the co-warranto petition. Now, how many votes does she need to win, and is there hope for Sereno's cause? Our Justice correspondent, Anjo Alemario, has more.
A defeat in the hands of her peers at the Supreme Court was not enough for former Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno to lose hope. In fact, she's still hoping all 8 justices who voted against her will have a change of heart for the sake of the country.
Realistically, that hope that all 8 will reconsider is not a big one, obviously. But there is always a glimmer of hope in everything.
Legal experts believe Sereno needs 2 more votes to win.
Since we are coming from a close vote of 8-6, to me, I think that chances are good that 2 justices can actually reverse themselves and have an opinion that will favor the dismissal of the co-warrant petition.
Ang maganda nga dito lang kay Chief, napaka-close nung voting, you know? And she needs at least 2 so that it will be reversed in her favor. Kasi kailangan majority din yung mapunta yun sa kanya, no?
A tie in the voting, Fajardo points out, means a status quo, and Sereno loses her fight.
A tie, to me, will not resolve it in favor of the Chief Justice. A tie will, in effect, result in the denial of the motion for reconsideration, because in this incident of an MR, I think you need the majority of those voting in the Supreme Court.
But USA Law Danilo Divina sees 2 interpretations.
One interpretation is as if the motion for recon is not, it's not granted basically because he didn't have enough votes, which means the original decision stays. One interpretation also can be that the petition, in effect, has not been granted, so it will go to the Senate for impeachment.
But Divina doesn't think the court will allow a 7-7 vote because he says it's too complicated. Of the 8 justices who voted against her, only Associate Justices Andres Reyes and Alexander Gasmundo did not write their own opinions. Divina says it might be difficult to get a reversal and an appeal touching on legal issues, but
perhaps some factual issues may not have been appreciated correctly or accurately. Perhaps some evidence may not have been considered, or perhaps new evidence may be submitted with leave of court. No?
Divina says when it boils down to statistics, Sereno faces an uphill battle.
More than 50% of the MRs are denied. More than 50%. And the same number goes for summary dismissal. No?
The Integrated Bar of the Philippines will file its separate appeal. The court junked its motion for intervention, saying its interest is merely out of sentimental desire. But Fajardo insists, as a mandatory organization of lawyers, IBP has a legal interest in the administration of justice. Anjali Mario, CNN Philippines.
Aside from the BBL, President Duterte has also certified another bill as urgent, and that is the supplemental budget for Dengvaxia vaccine recipients. House Appropriations Committee Chair Carlo Nograles says they were able to pass on second and third reading a supplemental budget worth 1.161 billion pesos to extend medical assistance to Dengvaxia victims. He adds 231 of them voted for the measure with no votes against and no abstentions. The Dengvaxia controversy began in November last year after Sanofi announced that its vaccine could lead to a more severe case of dengue when administered to someone who had not been infected by dengue before immunization.
From the top stories here in the country to headlines across the globe, the search for Malaysian Airlines flight MH370 officially comes to a close, and Malaysian authorities say there will be no more extensions. It has been more than 4 years since the jetliner disappeared while on a flight from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing. The Australian, Malaysian and Chinese governments funding the $150 million operation officially ended the search in 2017. Earlier this year, a private U.S. company took up the search on a no-find, no-fee basis. But after 5 months, it also failed to produce results and is ending its operation. U.S. President Donald Trump confirms North Korea's top official is on his way to the U.S. President Trump tweeted news of Kim Jong-chul's trip to New York early Tuesday morning. The planned meeting between Kim Jong-un and Trump nearly fell apart last week when Trump said he was calling it off. But after a conciliatory statement from North Korea, Trump revived hopes for the meeting late Saturday night. And Europe is proposing a ban on single-use plastic items in a bid to clean up the oceans. The European Commission wants to ban 10 items that make up 70% of all litter in EU waters and on beaches. The draft rules were unveiled Monday, but they need the approval of all EU member states and the European Parliament. The legislation also wants to make plastic producers bear the cost of waste management and cleanup efforts.